assure me you're not going to drop off asleep because you're a bit jet-lagged at the moment?
I'm a bit... just punch me if I go asleep.
I certainly will. Just got in from Canada, in fact.
Yeah, from Toronto.
Right. Well, now, the thing is, here you are, film writer, a man of many talents, comedy writer, and now writer of children's books. So after all the satire of Monty Python, do you think people would find that a bit strange, you know, turning to children's books?
Well, I don't know, you know. I mean, Monty Python was it's a bit silly, you know. It's a bit childish as well. I mean, I think writing comedy and writing children's book, I think all these things, you've got to approach them as a child almost to see something new. And in any case, I mean, Monty Python was originally, it was an amalgam of two shows. In fact, there was Eric Idle, Mike Palin, myself, and Terry Gilliam. We're doing a children's show called Do Not Adjust Your Set, and that was for kids, but it got a sort of a cult following amongst adults. I think we make too much division between children and adults.
Well, you've got two lovely children of your own, so how have they reacted to your latest venture?
Well, Eric the Viking, I wrote for Bill, my son, you see, because I'd written fairy tales for Sally. And so when Bill came to the age of 5, I said, well, I suppose I better write you some stories. And he said, oh, Dad, no more stories, please. So I twisted his arm a bit. And he said he wanted stories sort of about all the same character. So it sounded to me like a saga, I thought he was talking about. So I ended up writing a saga of a Viking warrior who goes to the land where the sun goes at night.
And did you find yourself putting in things that you knew would appeal to him?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I couldn't quite do it as much as I did for Sally when I wrote the fairy tales, because Bill really wanted a superhero. He wanted Superman or Batman or something. And Eric the Viking isn't quite like that. He has his problems, you know. And early on in the stories, I remember reading them to Bill, and Bill would say, why didn't Eric use his magic sword? And Sally would say, shh, that's silly, he's not magic.
But it's lovely, actually, to see the reaction of your own children to books that you've written especially for them anyway.
Oh, it's great. It's like having an instant audience. It's kind of, it's a great buzz, actually.
Not that I would ever guess it from your accent, but born in Wales, and I was just wondering, do you regard yourself as being Welsh?
Oh, well, yes, I heavily regarded myself as Welsh. We moved when I was about 5, and I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go and live in the south of England at all. I think I spent most of my youth saying, well, I'm Welsh, really, I'm not English, you know. And it was only quite recently I suddenly discovered that actually I was suffering from not being more Welsh, not having more of an accent. Like, for instance, people would find me a bit heavy, a bit dogmatic. You know, my wife was always saying, you're so dogmatic about things. And I'm not being dogmatic, I'm just excited, you know. And I suddenly realised that it's because of my accent. I've got this terrible south of England accent, you know, Oxford accent. And in fact, if I was talking Welsh, you see, it would also, you'd know I was being excited because I'm going up at the end of the sentence, you see. But if you get excited with an English accent, it sounds like you're laying down the law, because that's the only way you can talk and get excited in English.
Well, you had a great career at Oxford, but it wasn't just all study and academics, was it? Because you had some fairly seedy jobs to make money while you were there.
Oh, yes. Oh, dear, yes, you remember that. Yes, I did work as a dustman for about a couple of weeks. But it was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating. I found after a week of doing it that you look at things. I didn't realise how you look at things in cliches. And that I look at a house, I look at the front door. And after a week of working on dustbins, I immediately was looking for the side door, and you see a house in a totally different way. It's quite interesting.
So you spend your life looking at side doors these days?
I do tend to, rather, yes. But, it's a
I wanted
one.
to show just a little clip, because you have a habit of playing women in your films and the Python films. And we're going to show a clip from The Meaning of Life. And in this, you're the mother of no less than 60 children.
I have to say, Gloria, we can't show you the funny bits of that scene, unfortunately.
Heavily editing.
It has.
But the thing is, why do you like playing women so much?
Well, my wife won't let me dress up at home, I'm afraid. She's put a stop to that, so it's the only way I can do it, is in public.
But do you find, for example, that if you're playing a really frumpy woman, or if you're playing a slightly more glamorous one, that the attitude kind of changes to you?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, when I was directing the film, and when I was dressed as the mother there, it was quite silly seeing me looking through the viewfinder, all of this great padding on and everything, this looking very tired and harassed, you know. People felt a bit sorry for me. But at the end of the film, for the first time, I got to play a faintly attractive lady in a sort of silky dress with false eyelashes. And it was weird. You'd be walking onto the set and you'd suddenly find somebody pinching your bum, you know, one of the crew, and the crew behaved in a totally different way to me. It's very nice.
Better watch yourself on the way out, I tell you what, this evening. The other point is that the Python films are just such good fun to watch, you know, and it makes one wonder, is it equally funny to make?
Well, the funny bit really is when we've written the scenes and we're reading them out to each other, and then we're all falling on the floor and laughing. Having got beyond that stage, it's sort of quite hard work, really, because you've got to realise the thing and get it onto the screen, and that's quite. We do have a few laughs, though. It's, I think as long as the six of us are enjoying working together, then it works. I think.
Who's the practical joker amongst you all?
Well, Mr. Cleese has been known to play one or two occasionally. I remember we were doing one of the Python shows, and John played a joke on Mike Palin that went sort of wrong. I don't know why John did it, but he just hid in Michael's room behind a chair. It was only just an ordinary stand-up chair, and John just crouched behind it like this, and Mike came to bed and got into bed. We thought everybody... And he got into bed, and John just sat there, thinking Mike would see him at any moment. And Mike didn't. He got into bed, put the light out. And John had to sort of, after half an hour of this, get up and say goodnight and walk out.
Does he tend to get up to a lot of practical jokes like that?
If he's in the right mood, he does, yes. Otherwise, he's very serious.
I'm quite intrigued by the fact that the whole lot of you tend to go to exotic places to write.
Yes, I thought this was a bit of a naughty thing to do originally. We did it for the first time we did it was for The Life of Brian. And we all rented a house in, I think it was Barbados or somewhere, and went off and wrote there. But in fact, actually, it turned out to be a very good thing because it kept us together for 2 weeks at a time. Otherwise, we can't do it in London. You know, we've got to go and I've got to see the kids from school, or, you know, you're going out, you've got other things to do. So it's quite good to dump us down. Of course, I mean, it could be Newcastle, I suppose, but...
But you would have to choose Barbados.
I think so, yes.
Telling your wife, sorry, dear, you can't come. You know, we have to go and write. Are you going to write any more children's books, like Eric?
Well, I have to have a word with the wife, actually, because we've run out of children. I've written one for Sally, one for Bill. We need another one, so... Alison, if you're listening, I'll be home in about half an hour.
Well, I tell you what, I'll see you then in 10 months' time or something like that, yes?